Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, call William La, Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shalom Laki Yahushai, Bashem Hakadosh, Elohim to the apostles and elders, green millstone, peace, citation, hope, select, Shalom. And Lord willing, I'll come up with the title of this video, and Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai for 1144. So, as you can see right here, I'm showing you that these are 9 major awards whose owners sold them off for cold hard cash. And usually you have a lot of these celebrities, right? They have that, what you will call, all these awards and stuff for, how, basically how good they were in terms of, like, let's say in the movie they were in, they earned a nomination, all that other shit. Like, all that shit is just vanity, And pretty much in this truth, that's why, brothers in this truth, we fight for incorruptible crown. All these awards that these celebrities and all these famous people be winning, like on this side, that's just corruptible crowns, And it says right here that one is the Oscar statutes. Let me see. And then another one was a Nobel Prizes. And hold on. The third one was the Grammys. Then the fourth one was the Emmys. The fifth one was the Tonys. And the sixth one was Stanley Cup rings. 7 was NBA championship rings. You have in the world where pretty much a lot of Jakes will want to make it to the NBA and things of that nature. Like, they would try to, play basketball in high school and shit like that. They would try to, that's one of their goals, to kind of, like, when playing sports, like, you really have like a good, I guess, vision in terms of, like, looking into the future. And you probably think, like, if you keep this up, eventually that you'll make it to the big leagues and things of that nature. But even if you make it that far and you happen to be one of the top sports players, it's like, that's just still a corruptible crown in the end of the day. Heisman trophies and Miss America crowns. A lot of these people, they end up, like, even after they win these trophies and things of that nature, it's like they can't keep it forever. A lot of times, like, sometimes, like, they will get poor, and what they do is that, or when they realize they're pretty much in so much debt after making certain purchases and having a certain amount of liabilities, because they weren't able to manage their finances correctly. So what they do is they end up selling these trophies and these awards that they once won when they were, participating into something special, like something special in this world, such as, like, being one of the top celebrities or top sports players, winning championships as a sports player, winning a nomination for being one of the best song artists or celebrity, And those are all corruptible crowns. And I found this through the Spirit. It says the Oscar statue is the most prestigious prize in Hollywood. Here's why it's only worth $1. So they mentioned that in this article, which was posted on March 26, 2022, winning an Academy Award is often considered the most prestigious honor you can receive in Hollywood. Earning an Oscar can instantly allow actors to command as much as 20% more money on their next project. But although taking home the top prize in one of the top acting categories can be career changing, the trophy itself is worth less than a cup of coffee. That's because the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, which gives out the Oscars, has strict rules in place to prevent winners from profiting off of the sale of their trophies. In fact, according to the Academy's official regulations, winners are not allowed to sell or otherwise dispose of the Oscar statue without first offering to sell it to the Academy for the sum of $1. And if an Oscar winner dies and passes their award down to their children, otherwise known as a legacy, those heirs must also abide to the same rules and cannot sell or give away the statue. These rules were first introduced in 1951 and are in place to preserve the integrity of the Oscar symbol, the Academy says in its materials. Oscars that were awarded prior to the introduction of the rule are technically fair game for collectors. In 1999, Michael Jackson paid $1.54 million for the Best Picture Oscar awarded to Gone with the Wind in 1940, and in 2011, the 1942 Oscar that Citizen Kane was awarded for its screenplay sold at an auction for $861,542. In addition to restricting what winners can do with their trophies, the Academy has also carefully limited reproductions of the Oscar statue. The Los Angeles Times reported in 2016 that the Academy has sued candy shops for making chocolate replicas of Oscar statues and gone after award websites that use Oscar in their names. 94 Academy Awards will be held Sunday, March 27th. They will air it at 8 p.m. Wow. Call Me Up Pushing My Shot 1.44 they showed right here. Alright. So that's what I wanted to get on that, And let me see. So this is the real value of professional sports trophies. It shows that like the Stanley Cup, the Lombardi Trophy, Commissioner's Trophy, Slovakia, the Larry O'Brien Trophy, and the FIFA World Cup Trophy. And pretty much like when it's coming to these trophies, it shows that like the FIFA World Cup Trophy has it's highlighted. It says the trophy stands at 14.5 inches tall and depicts two human figures holding up the world. Contrary to popular assumption, the trophy is actually hollow. Since the trophy is made of 18-karat gold, it would be too heavy to lift if it were solid gold through and through. And that's pretty much like the point I wanted to get on that, honestly. That when it's coming to these trophies, they're not really fully made out of solid gold, And they have like a certain amount of pieces of gold, but some of them it's like it's not fully gold though. You know what I mean? So yeah. And going as far as seeing the celebrities that win those Oscar trophies and they can only sell it back for $1, that's real thievery right there. Like showing you that it's worthless. And I think y'all heard of this article where it mentions about how Shane Mosley, his wife gets championship belt in divorce. So basically he just sold his belt to her. Showing you right there that all these celebrities and these professional sports players, they fight for a corruptible crown. And with that, I'll just bring out some scriptures. Lord willing, you hopeful that could be edified. And I'll start off with 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain. Right. And pretty much all the let's say the 1/3 in this truth, like we're all gonna receive that prize, especially the 144,000 men. That's like you're gonna be on top of the prize, with that incorruptible crown. And it says in verse 25, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Exactly. When people do certain things to pretty much be seen in front of men as such as like being famous, and so, right, all the money that they making, eventually they end up losing it, later on. So, but we in this truth, because we invest in our spiritual gifts, which is in our spiritual treasures, as scriptures say, we pretty much are investing in a spiritual bank account. And that's pretty much talking about like the awards that's going to be given to the Lord's men in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 6 verse 19. It says, lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. You see? So that's going to show you right there that like all your earthly treasures eventually they're gonna get, rusted out, they're gonna get stolen, they could get, pretty much like you could lose it. Alright? But it says in verse 20, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your heart, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Exactly. Because your mind got to be on the prize, like they say. And your heart, that means mind, right? So, pretty much if you lay your mind in this truth, you keep enduring in this truth, and you keep serving the Lord and doing the works to the best of your ability, eventually when you endure to the end, that's where your treasures, you're going to have a lot of treasures, when you enter the kingdom. Scriptures say you got to fight for that crown and let no man take that. In Wisdom of Solomon 14, let me see. In verse 14, it says, for by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. Right. So, pretty much like, there's another thing that the scriptures also mention, that envy thou not the life of a sinner, because you know what his end shall be. Right. In the end of the day, like, these people that sin and they don't want to repent, you already know the end is going to be a 2/3, and they're not going to enter into the kingdom. They're not going to pretty much enter the kingdom as a 1/3. So, and that means that they're not going to really lay up their spiritual treasures in heaven, This whole thing and doing the works in this truth and enduring to the end with this truth, like, the Lord sees your works, the Lord sees how hard you hustling in this thing, and he's going to reward you if you're his men. And Lord willing, I don't know what to stop about that number, to be 144,000. And this is 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2. This will be the last I'll bring out. It says, feed the flock of Yahweh which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Scriptures even say, buy the truth and sell it not, And verse 3, neither as being lords over Yahweh's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. Exactly. That's making your body a living sacrifice. Scriptures say, you got to lead by example. It's not do as I say, not as I do, but it's more of like teaching and showing what you teach. You got to show what you know. As they say in the world. And then verse 4, it's the last one. And when the chief shepherd, which is Yahushua, shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Right. And the reason why he will be considered as a chief shepherd, because he was the biggest example of being, humble. He was the biggest example. and he was a living embodiment. He was a living embodiment of this truth. You know, the fact that he walked down in this earth, and how he pretty much like showed his men an example, starting with his disciples. Right. And that's pretty much what the Lord did. He made his body as a living sacrifice. He was the first one to show that example. So now everyone that's pretty much in this truth have to show that example and endure to the end with this truth as well. You know, and the Lord, he set up shepherds, you know, who were once sheep, to pretty much like teach the newer sheep that's in this thing to do the same thing. You know, I mean, after all, the Lord did mention that he wanted his men to be fishers of men, you know, and that's what we have to do, and it's truth. Because you see, the sheep are people that listen to this word, and if they just so happen to be men, for the most part, you want to train them and raise them up in the way so that they could follow the works of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, and they could be, you know, shepherds as well, and raise the sheep and guide the sheep as well. You know, scriptures talk about giving pastures. I think it was in Jeremiah 3rd chapter about giving, you know, how the Lord will give pastors according to his heart. You know, all right. You have to be that example. And with that, hope I made the lesson edifying. Let's give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai, Yahweh, Bashem, Shamalak, Yahweh Shah, Bashem, Kakadash, double honor to apostles and the L's great millstone, peace, citation, hope for light. Yahweh Shem, Shah, Babakashah, Shalak, Rayam, Arawanyam, Wakawayam, Wa, Shalom.